Filmaren prentsaurrekoa egingo dugu.
Good afternoon. We're going to commence the press conference of the official sector, the Equalizer. And so therefore, please, photographers, could you please take your seats so that we can commence the press conference. Yes, it's on channel. Mr. Fukua, can you hear me? Channel 3. Mr. Fukua, can you hear me now? Just testing from the booth. Mr. Washington, Mr. Fukua, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Channel 3. Yeah, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. I'm testing from the booth. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. Now, can you both hear me? That's the thank you very much, Mr. Washington. Yes. Mr. Fukua, can you hear me now? Fantastic. Okay. We've got the director of the film, Antoine Fuqua, and the leading actor and Donostia Award this year, Mr. Denzel Washington.
Wait 1 second, Antoine's got it. Oh, yeah.
And so therefore, they're both hanging out to hear your questions. Please stand up when you ask your questions, but please, first question. Congratulations, Mr. Washington, for this deserved Donostia Award. I would also like to ask you whether you're the heir of Sidney Poitier, that is to say, because you started to make films as black leading man, and then that didn't matter whether you're black or white, for Sidney Poitier or Denzel Washington. I would like to ask the director of this film whether the character that Denzel Washington plays insists, but we could send him to Syria, so he could fix up all the problems that take place in Syria, whether you base yourself upon films like Death Had a Price.
Keep going. Keep going.
Whether you're influenced by Sergio Leone and his films, okay?
Absolutely, I'm influenced by Sergio Leone. I love Sergio Leone movies. In fact, we walked in the hotel room and it was Once Upon a Time in the West was playing, and I got excited about that. And we're doing a Western together, a remake of The Magnificent Seven, and yeah, so I absolutely grew up watching all of Sergio Leone's movies. And what was the other question?
There's only one Sidney Poitier. Only one. I'm glad to say he's a friend of mine, but I could never be Sidney Poitier.
John from Variety.
Oh.
I wonder, no, it's not going to be that serious a question.
No. I didn't say that because I'm saying because I don't have to listen to translation.
Well, I'll try to make the question funny. I believe that you are preparing together a sequel written by Richard Wenk to The Equalizer, and it's said that you, Mr. Washington, will be in a remake of The Magnificent Seven, or you're reported to be associated on Warner Brothers' Shovel Ready. I wonder if you put any of that together, or most of that together, should Liam Neeson be thinking about retiring maybe, because Denzel Washington will become the new icon for the more mature viewers of the action hero?
I'm not doing Shovel Ready. You must have heard. You must have read that on IMDb. They also said I was in Death Wish. I'm not in Death Wish. I'm not doing Shovel Ready. The people will decide whether we do a sequel, not me or anyone else. If the people want a sequel to The Equalizer, then and there's a good script, then it's something I'll consider. But I'm not considering it at all right now. This one hasn't even come out yet, so I'm not thinking about it. But the studio's thinking about it. I'm not. And Magnificent Seven is inspired by the Seventh Samurai. So it's not really a remake of the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven was inspired by the Seventh Samurai. We are inspired by Seventh Samurai.
Right. So you might be doing that one?
We plan to.
We plan to.
We plan to.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you
But
very
Shovel Ready, I don't know, that was just one that,
That was reported in Deadline, which is our rival, so I never believe them anyway.
oh,
Hi, good afternoon, and congratulations for the Donosti Award, the San Sebastian Film Festival Award. The first question is whether the Oscar allowed you to be yourself, something that whether the Oscar has changed you at all, and or is it, are you still who you've always been in Hollywood? And the second question talks about the violence of the film. Do you believe that in a world that we live in today with violence, you've got to apply violence to fight against them, or is it just a movie? Solo es.
oh, it's just a movie. I forgot what she said at first. Yeah, I won 2 Oscars, and well, I mean, I think it changed, people's perception of me, or within the industry. I was afforded more opportunities, I guess, as a result of winning for Glory in 1990. Maybe less so in terms of opportunities with Training Day, only because I was doing pretty good before Training Day. What was the last part? I already answered it. Okay.
Adelante, por favor.
A question for the director and another one for Denzel. To the director, I would like to ask you about in the first violent scene in the film when he kills the Russians gangsters. At the end of the fight, there was people applauded in the film theater. So I'd like to know, what do you think about that type of reaction? Because the applause was a great surprise upon the scene because of the violence in the scene. And Denzel, I would like to ask you whether you would like to participate in a TV series now that they're so prestigious and with the many very renowned actors and who have won Oscars participating in them. And I would like whether you'd like to play another character, an historic, like Barack Obama, for example. Would you like to play him as a...
You want to go first, or you're good? Barack Obama, Barack Obama's story hasn't been finished yet. I think he suggested that I could be someone to play him, but that's not something I'm thinking about right now. He's busy. Television, I'm moving into producing for television. I'm working on a deal now to produce some plays for television, but I'm not looking to act in television. Yeah, when I saw the film in Toronto, people sort of cheered as well. I think it speaks more to, I don't know if it speaks more to, but Antoine talks about a certain hyper reality. I think that we try to steep the film in reality, but it's also sort of escapist violence, if you will, for the audience. And I think they cheer because they root for this guy. He doesn't come there to hurt anyone. He comes there to give money to these people so they would let the girl go. But they don't. They make their own choice.
Right. Yeah, that's it. They're bad guys.
One moment, please. Just the microphone.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm from Rose Hill. And I understand that you were a year behind me. So, it's wonderful to say hello, and it's wonderful to welcome you to, I understand that you were a great basketball player with PJ Carlissimo in the Fordham basketball team. So I just want to take this moment to say welcome to San Sebastian, Donosti, where we are. I'm from New York. I live here, and I'm happy to say hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Adelante, adelante.
Go Rams.
I'm afraid I can't hear the question. I can't hear the question. Micrófono. Okay, that's much better. I saw you in when I was 14 years old in Cry Freedom. I didn't know who you were at all, and I was impressed by the role you played. I investigated it a bit, and I saw on the credits that you were the actor, that Stephen Biko you played was Denzel Washington, and I followed your career since then. And I would like to ask you, what did that film mean to you, that's a Cry Freedom, and to walk with the recently passed away Sir Richard Attenborough?
Experience to work with Richard Attenborough. It was my first time going to Europe. It was the first time going to Africa. Richard Attenborough was a very sweet man, and obviously a very talented director. So it was a great honor for me. I learned so much from him, and I'll miss him. We all will miss him dearly.
Hi, good afternoon to both of you. Javier Suarez from the Canary Islands. I would like to ask you, Denzel, whether this film, the role that you play, is very different to the film that you played in Training Day, also directed by Antoine Fuqua, the two different poles, two opposite sides of the story. Which way are you going as an actor and director? Antoine, the film visually is quite strong in some of the scenes because you use a lot of slow-mo as well. Is your film going to continue along those lines as of now? And congratulations, by the way, for the Donosti Award, Mr. Washington, as well.
My films will continue whatever the script dictates. Whatever is needed for the story is where my films will go. It's hard to say until I read the script, and then just my imagination takes over, and then it goes from there. So that's that answer.
And what'd you ask me? With Antoine. Well, I mean, we had, obviously great success with Training Day, and as a result of that success, we both had a lot of opportunities, and he was off making different films. I was off making different films. So this felt like and is the right time, even though it took 10 or 12 years for us to come back together. But I'm glad we did, and I'm proud of the work that Antoine has done. I'm proud of the work I've done. So I think we made a movie that people want to see, people want to root for, and have fun enjoying.
Adelante.
Hola.
Where?
Estoy aquí al fondo.
Oh, right at the back here. Hello. A question for Mr. Washington's. Congratulations for the Donostia Award. There's two questions for you. How do you relate yourselves to, do you keep the awards from the school, for example, when you're an adolescent or teenager? What's your relationship with all the awards that you've won, etc., first of all? And secondly, you're the first black actor that receives the Donostia Award. And I would like you to tell us whether you feel representing your community is a burden on your shoulders or not.
I didn't know I was the first, but thank you. I didn't get any awards when I was a kid.
Sports.
Yeah, sports, yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, no, I do have some of my awards from high school, but no, it's not a burden. I mean, I'm proud to be an African American, and I try to work hard. I don't think of it as a burden in any way. I mean, the opportunities that I've been given, I try to do the best work that I can, and hopefully somehow be an example for those young actors coming after me. Well, it's a great honor. I mean, why am I holding it to my head? I'm listening to myself. Hello, Denzel. How are you? Oh, I am good. No, it's an honor to be recognized and appreciated for the work I've done. Like I said, I try to work hard, and I'm all about trying to do the best work I can. And so I say thank you to I'll save my speech for tonight, but I'll say thank you now.
Hello, Mr. Washington.
Oh.
In English, I try
Okay.
to ask in English, but sorry about my English. First of all,
How do you say, I'm sorry, lo siento mucho, right?
lo siento mucho.
Lo siento
Oh,
mucho.
it's good.
Actually, I speak Spanish. I'm just not.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't speak it. Pero en mi corazón. I am Spanish.
Well, first of all, congratulations for your Donosti Award, and congratulations to Antoine for your film, The Equalizer. It's so good.
Thank you.
My questions are very simple. We are in Spain. First, do you like Spanish movies, Denzel? And do you think that in the past few years, the quality of Spanish movies has increased?
Well, I'm going to let Antoine answer that part because he knows more about films than I do. But I have a question. What happened to the Spanish basketball team? What happened? I live in Los Angeles. I will see Pau Gasol. He's this close to me on the floor every night, running up and down.
We don't understand.
What?
We don't understand.
Pressure? Is it too much pressure?
It's possible.
To France? I'm just asking. You have the answer? Anybody have the answer? No, but no, I like the Gasol brothers and Rubio and what's the other guard? Calderon. Calderon is good. Anyway, Antoine knows more about films than I do.
Well, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, there's some great films, Spanish directors and films come out of Spain. I think the best thing that's happening right now is for filmmakers in different parts of the countries is the internet in a weird way, because films that we would never get to see, you can find them now and find some of these directors. You know, normally you only find some of the great directors from Spain and other parts of the world at film festivals, right? You go to Venice or you come here and you see these directors. Now, because of the internet, we're seeing more films coming out of Spain. And there's always been great films that came out of Spain. In fact, Sergio Leone shot all his movies here. Great actors were here, right? Great with Antonio Banderas, a great actor, he's here. Is Benicio del Toro from Spain? He's Mexican? He's Puerto Rican?
Puerto Rican.
Is he Puerto Rican? Okay. No.
Javier
Out of the
Bardem.
whole Javier Bardem. But out of the whole Latin community, it's just the whole Latin community. I never really thought about, you know, Spain as a separate entity from other Latin communities, because it becomes, unfortunately, Hollywood puts it all in one box, right? So Spain, Brazil, all of a sudden it goes in one box. And there's great filmmakers from all these places, Mexico, you know, that we all admire. Sometimes you don't even know they're from Spain. You don't know where they are. So that's the best part that's happening, is they're starting to make more films that are universal, that are worldwide, and you get to see them on the internet. So yeah, it's a good thing. Did I answer your question? No.
Yeah.
You got that look on your face like, what are you talking about? Give me some names.
Ahí a la izquierda primero, por favor.
On the left. Hi, good afternoon. Sorry I can't get up. I'm like Raymer Lincoln in The Bone Collector. But I've got a better character and personality than you had in the film. You'll have to ask my ex-wife to see what she says about this. Sí, la pregunta. Analyzing your career and trajectory as an actor, you started with Spike Lee making sort of films like denunciating things, and then you more intimate type films with like Nueces para Chocolate, and then you went into a third phase, from my point of view, in which we see you that you're very comfortable and your psychological thrillers and suspense, working with Ridley Scott and with Mr. Fuqua and Richard Demme. There are people that are linked to suspense and psychological thrillers, which is, I think, where you better play your roles and convey what you want to do in the roles that you play as an actor.
Thank you. Even before Spike Lee, I worked with Sir Richard Attenborough, Sidney Lumet, Norman Jewison. So I did a few films before Spike Lee. I guess, yeah, there was a period where I did biographies, like, well, even up through Frank Lucas in American Gangster. Of late, I guess maybe more thrillers, but still roles like Flight. But also in the last 9 years, even though it may appear I'm doing one kind of film or one genre, my children are older now. So now I've gone back to doing theater, which is actually my first love, not film. My first love is theater, always has been. That's where I was trained. That's where I started my career. So in the last 9 years, I played Brutus in Shakespeare, Julius Caesar. Won a Tony for Fences, August Wilson's play. And I just finished a play this summer, Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. So also in the last 10 years, I've directed 2 films and I've produced a half a dozen. So I'm actually moving around doing different things. I'm not just acting in movies, I'm directing movies, I'm producing films, and I'm working on a deal now, which I won't talk about, but I'm producing a lot for television, as I mentioned. So I'm trying to do a variety of things. But thank you.
Primero ahí a la derecha y luego ahí.
First on the right and then no one in the center.
My name is Raquel Coroma. I'm coming from La Frontera de Vidasoa. First thing, thank you to welcome here.
You're welcome.
And my question, because my dad is from Sierra Leone, and during the Civil War, he was stuck during 4 years in Sierra Leone. And your movies, and like you and Morgan Freeman, was make me, during these 4 years, remember my dad, because you look like, you know, like cool, you know, same attitude. So I was watching during 4 years and your movies. So my first question, which project it will make you realize? I know every artist, because I'm also a dancer, so I know never, when you finish a project, always you want more. But which type of project will make you really realize, like, you
Like
know,
finish?
close, not finish, but close a cycle?
Close the cycle?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I wouldn't, no.
You don't know?
To close? Well,
Maybe 1 second.
you mean professionally? Or
Yeah,
maybe one, I don't know. You know, I mean, I can't predict the future. I know next week I start riding horses to maybe Lipinzanas to prepare for a Western we're going to make. As I said, I'm looking to produce things. So I'm not looking, well, I am relaxed, but I'm not looking to relax.
That's wonderful. Not everybody have that, so congratulations
Thank
for
you.
that. And second one, like I'm a professional dancer, I will love you see you dance in one film one day.
Dancing in this one. Did you see the movie?
Not yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do a brilliant ballet in this film.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah.
will watch it.
Baryshnikov. I am Baryshnikov.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Felicidades.
Congratulations for the Donosti Award. The truth is, a question for the director, why so much violence? And that's the truth of that question. And another one for you, Mr. Denzel Washington, and that is, sorry, Denzel Washington. And a film, Martin Luther King, a role like that, I'm not too sure whether you've rejected it or whether it's something that, or the role of Martin Luther King, have you received that magical role that you've always wanted to play yet, or not? I know that the questions are perhaps right up front to direct.
Everybody. I've been Malcolm X, Stephen Biko, Frank Lucas. You know, I can't be everybody. And it's an interesting thing, and I'll let Antoine answer this, about this film, you know, and there is a hyper-reality, and there is a violence. Half the so-called violent scenes, you actually never see the violence. You know, I saw the film, or we saw the film, my wife saw the film in Toronto, and there's a scene, has everybody here seen the film, pretty much? Yes? Okay. There's a scene where something goes into someone's head, but you actually never see it. You think you're about to see it, and like my wife went like that, and you hear something, and then you see the result of it. So I think the suggestion of violence is more frightening. In this scene in the shower, in the bathroom, in the end, you actually don't see anything. You see the water running down, you see the fact that it's connected to something electric, and then you see me walking down the stairs and the lights flicker, and you hear him screaming, so you don't actually see anything. When they put the girl finds her ring in the cash register, you see me wiping off a hammer, and your imagination takes over, but you don't actually see anything. Even in the scene when he walks in with the men in the Slavy and his men, he doesn't come there to hurt anyone. He comes there to give money, and hopefully the girl will, he'll pay the $9,800 and they'll let her go. But that didn't happen. So.
That's right. No, that's right. The script was written a certain way. The idea of the brutality wasn't random. We talked a lot about it. It's informative because the character was so quiet, and we left so much mystery with the character that the only thing you really had to go on was if someone said something or by his behavior, and his behavior was brutal, which then, if you remember the movie, nothing happens violent-wise for a while. In fact, the initial violence doesn't happen for 30 minutes in the movie. The idea of having brutality in a movie has to inform you about the character and the world that he probably came from. You understand? It's a rated R movie. There's no reason to filter it if it's necessary for the character and for the story. If it was a PG movie, a PG-13 movie, that's different. So, young people today see a lot of violence on the internet and things like that. If you're going to go to the movie to be entertained, just like a Western, you go to see that movie. You don't go there to be watered down, right? You have to be truthful to the character and to the moment. And we're just being truthful to the story we were telling.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'm sorry. Oh, the magical role. Have you played the magical role? Have you received that The Hurricane, I think that was a good role. Is there any other magical role that you're expecting to come along, or have you already received it and done that?
That's why it would be magical. Would be magical. No, I've been blessed, like I said, to play all kinds of roles on stage and on film. So I'll continue to look for those, but they don't always just come along. You have to be in the right place at the right time and be the right person for the right part. I haven't turned any down. Yes.
Buenas tardes.
Hi, good afternoon. Congratulations for your award. I would like to ask you something quite brief. What role or what character did you say no to, and have you regretted for the rest of your life?
You know the answer already. No, I haven't. I have no regrets. Everything that I've done, good or bad, makes me what I am today. Hopefully, the mistakes I've made, I learned from. Professionally, there are a couple of movies that went on to become big hits that I've talked about. So you can go on the internet and look at it. But I have no regrets. What's for me is for me. What's for someone else is for them. So I have no regrets about what's happened for me professionally. I mean, everything that I've done has led me here to San Sebastian. So I'm happy. Somebody in the back?
Ahí a la derecha. Arriba, por favor.
You're going to
On the right. No, tendrás que venirte hasta aquí porque no creo que te van a llevar el micrófono. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Josué Sánchez. I'm from Argentina. I would like to ask both of you, seeing the film at the beginning, what triggers off the film is that you will want to save the girl who's having problems. And it occurred to me that the beginning of Taxi Driver, for example, and I would like to know whether it had anything to do with Taxi Driver, whether Denzel had based your character upon what Harry Keitel does, for example, back then when that film was made. Thank you very much.
No.
No. Never thought about Taxi Driver, actually. No.
I thought about Taxi Driver
okay.
once. And that's with Chloe Moretz. Because she reminded me of Jodie Foster quite a bit. She's a young girl, 16 years old. So, yeah, I thought about that. But the script was already written long before that. And, I mean, I'm a fan of Taxi Driver. Who's not? I mean, Martin Scorsese's great work. But, no, it didn't influence anything in the movie at all. But she reminded me of Jodie. Yeah.
Okay, gracias.
Thank you. Hi. Good afternoon. Antonio Medina from Infiltrados, Barcelona. First of all, for Antoine, we would like to know what are your 3 reference films and what else has guided you along to in the films that you make? What are those 3 reference films?
Not for this movie. In general? Like in general?
Yeah, in general. Yeah.
I love movies. I love movies, all types of movies from different places. I mean, if I had to pick 3 that I wish I would have made, if I could, The Seven Samurai would be one, of course. I think Apocalypse Now would be another one. And probably in a whole different genre, it would be like maybe like Public Enemy, the original, like in that world. Like I love the gangster movies, I love the war movies, I love the Seven Samurai movies. You know, so those are the films I grew up watching, and of course Sergio Leone's westerns. That would be 4 though, but you know.
Muchas gracias y felicidades.
Thank you very much.
You're doing Public Enemy.
That's right.
Denzel.
That's right.
Yes.
Denzel, for you. When we've come out of the film, when we watched it, all of us were asking ourselves, the whole team, and we don't know. Help us. There's a question, there's a doubt there. Tonight, whiskey, vodka, or rum? It's a question. For this evening, whiskey, vodka, or rum?
Are you going to have to drink?
Yes.
What do you...
No, ¿cuál de las 3?
Para mí? Oh.
Which of the 3?
Do I want?
Yes.
Agua.
Agua?
Agua.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't mention it.
For your new film that has remembered me to Man on Fire, one of my favorite films. The first thing I want to tell you is something personal, is that in my opinion you are the best actor I have ever seen before.
Wow. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to try and
But
try.
you're young.
I'm going to try to give you this letter.
Oh, that was you?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I
Oh,
know.
okay. Well, pass it to someone and they can
Oh,
bring
yes, please.
Just
I know it's in terms
pass
of
it up front.
security,
Pass it up front.
in terms of security, but
I'm
thank
secure,
you.
don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and now, in terms of work or whatever, what is the movie that has satisfied you most as an actor? Or your favorite one?
Different movies for different reasons. I mean, I never dreamed of being an actor as a youth. So some of the first movies I saw, even before I thought about being an actor that I liked, were movies like Shaft. And, Shaft. And Superfly. When I started acting in the 70s, you know, they were making movies like Taxi Driver. So the actors that I really didn't think much about Hollywood. I was thinking more that maybe one day I would, be on Broadway or do really good theater, which I've been blessed to do. But the films that I was looking at that time were films like by Dustin Hoffman or Pacino or De Niro. And they weren't really Hollywood films. They were more New York movies. So that was more where my head was at that time. So I'd say not even just the movies, but the performances in the movies influenced me, to do my best.
Okay, and just one thing. I think one of a role you deserve was in Seven, the film with Kevin Spacey, I think. Now,
Seven?
do you ¿Tienes ahora alguna...
Are you worried, or did you say that you should have taken that, accepted that role that Kevin Spacey played in Seven?
Spacey role, it was the Brad Pitt role. But no, I don't worry, you know. I mean, like I said, what's for Brad is for Brad, what's for me is for me, what's for Kevin is for Kevin, and good for them. I'm happy for them. Yeah. Rams, go Rams.
This is for Anton. I came out of the cinema with my friends and we were talking about how it was related or looked a bit visually as if it was a superhero film. You were inspired by any superhero film such as The Dark Knight. We were talking about visually it looks a lot like The Dark Knight in some senses, as well as, you know, not looks like, but being inspired by it, as well as other films like Old Boy and stuff like that. Was there any kind of sense to that, or is it more like unintentional?
It was unintentional, but I always saw Robert McCall as a very grounded hero, not superhero, but a very grounded hero. And to me, he was a mythical character. You know what I mean? He had more. It was an iconic character, and the movies you were talking about, like Batman, and those films have iconic characters, and the way you film them as well. When he comes around the corner in slow motion with the water, and so that reminds you of like a Batman probably, but because he's an iconic character, and that's just my passion for working with Denzel, you know, how I want to capture him, you know, with the big close-ups and all these things, because that's how I want to capture my iconic character, and that's probably what you feel, is that same passion for that.
Thank you. And congratulations also, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Allí atrás, por favor.
At the back, yes. One more question, Mr. Washington. The first, congratulations for your Donosti Award. And I would like to ask, you said yourself that you feel that you're an example for the new generation, not only Afro-American, but all sorts of actors. What would you advise after the enormous career that you've had, knowing that this is a long-distance run, and especially vis-a-vis all of a sudden you're successful and everything that the industry brings about, fame that brings along with disordered lifestyle? What would you advise young actors after having seen what you've seen throughout your career?
Well, you know, and you're right. Some of the most talented young actors get snatched up by Hollywood or get on television or something too fast. I would suggest, as I tell all young actors, to get on the stage first. Learn to act. You know, I feel you learn to act, or I learned to act on stage. The actors I admire, some of which I mentioned, you know, I think really got their start on the stage. So, but you know, that's not always the case. You know, sometimes young people, they're very talented, and you know, they get the big job right away, and they never, even if they get the big job, try to go back, do theater, study. My son, my oldest son, was a professional football player. And and he always wanted to be an actor. The first thing he ever auditioned for was a new HBO series. Now this is proud papa talking now. It was a HBO series that he's now co-starring in with The Rock. So he shot the pilot, and now he's going to shoot the series in November. But I made sure, in the way I taught him, he went to New York as soon as he finished the pilot and studied at HP Studios for 10 months and did almost a full production of the Dutchman and did scenes from Shakespeare. So he went back and starting to learn the fundamentals. When he finishes shooting the series, he'll go back and study more and get on stage. My daughter, who's an actress, graduated from NYU, classically trained, and in New York doing theater now. So that's the way I teach them. That's the way it happened for me, and that's what I would suggest to young people. But again, sometimes they're blessed and cursed with, you know, success too soon.
En la primera fila.
First row.
On your prize.
Thank you.
I have a question for you about the movie, but first, if you please let us, I represent a website called lavandamovies.net, We made a tribute for you. It's a caricature. If we can give it to you.
Is it money?
Right.
Just throw it, throw it. Let's see. Ah! You never know. Look similar? Yes, you have a question, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. In my opinion, the movie is about helping people you care about. My question for you is, have you ever been in a similar situation, of course, taking the extremes of, in which you had to help somebody helpless, and you had to help her some way?
I think that, we all have an opportunity or a responsibility to look out for our fellow man, woman. I think that if each one of us helped one person, we'd have a lot less problems in this world than we have today. I would never choose to use this extreme. There is a system of justice, so I wouldn't choose to do what this character does. But I think that people, and going back to someone else's question, I think that one of the reasons people cheer at the end of that first, scene in the office is in some ways they want to root for someone who can get things done. I think that in some way we feel powerless, and we can go to the movies and cheer for someone with power. Even the movies I was talking about in my youth, Shaft, and these were guys that had power, and I was like, yeah, they can go and be cool and get things done. Maybe I can't get those things done, but that guy can get things done. I want to be like that guy. Maybe not do what that guy does, the way he does it, but at least he stands up. And what you said first is the most important thing. In the first half hour of the film, or whatever amount of time it is, you find out this man has a good heart. He's trying to help this young boy lose weight so he can be a security guard. He's trying to help this young girl to be a singer. He says to her, you have to be what you are in this world. Well, he has to be what he is in this world too, and I think he's in denial about what he is, and this young girl can see that in him. She's only 15, but she says she sees the sadness in his eyes, and she knows that there's a pain inside of him. And here's this 50-year-old man, or whatever age he is, and this little 15-year-old girl can see something that no one else sees. I mean, we spend time with the character alone. We see he's not a superhero. He's a guy who we're not quite sure what his issue is, but we know something in his past has affected him. And as he says later on in the film, he promises someone that he really loved, his wife, that he would never go back to being this type of person again, but he does. And in a sense, it's what he has to be.
Hello, I haven't seen The Equalizer yet, but I was under the big impression of your performance in The Flight. I think it was a masterpiece. Your role was absolutely astonishing, absolutely worth an Oscar. So how do you remember working with Robert Zemeckis and this kind of anti-heroic
It was a great experience. I was surprised that he would be interested in a film like this. So, and the writer went through experiences with. It's a personal film for the writer. So it was a great experience for me, and as I was saying to someone earlier, it was a great part. It's those type of parts don't come along very often, and that's not one of the reasons I do more theater, but I do find great parts to play. Yeah, I do find great parts to play in the theater. So that was just one of those great roles, and I was fortunate to have the opportunity to play it.
Buenas tardes.
Hi, good afternoon. Congratulations for the Donosti Award. And my question refers that you're talking about your first great love in the world of acting is theatre. What does theatre give you that cinema doesn't, and vice versa? Thank you very much.
The audience. The last, a film too, the last part of a play or the last part of an idea for a play or a screenplay is the audience. That's the last element. That's when a play is complete. That's when a film is complete, when people see it and react to it and say whatever they say about it. In the theater, you get that response, that energy every night. In a film, while you were all watching the film, I might have been brushing my teeth or flying on a plane. So I don't get that live experience, that live energy. It's not to say it's selfish, but in the theater, I mean, I'm there to perform for you, but I get back so much from you. And you can't duplicate that in film.
On the left again.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I read some interviews with...
Where are you from?
Spain.
Oh, okay. But you spent time in America?
Yes.
Oh, where?
New York and LA.
Okay.
The accent.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So I read interviews with you saying that for you the most important thing of a movie is the screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know from both of you what drew you to this project and what made Richard Wang's work so interesting for you to direct and for you to be the actor for that project.
Well, for me, I think Richard wrote a really good screenplay, and in its simplicity, really. It was just clean, and it was about a guy doing the right thing, ultimately. And he didn't complicate it, so that was good. But most importantly for me was obviously knowing that Mr. Washington was going to play Robert McCall. And so all of a sudden the screenplay goes from, really good to like great, because I know that character is going to become something that you can't write what he does, so that's what it was for me.
Todd Black, the producer, is a friend of mine. I've known him 20, 25 years. He came to me 2 or 3 years ago and said, look, I bought the rights or obtained the rights to the Equalizer. I want to develop the screenplay for you. And I said, no, okay. Doesn't cost me anything. And he said, just give me a year or 6 months and I'll come to you when I feel I have a script that I feel good about. He came to me with the script, I don't know, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, 2 years. And I said yes to him right away. I said, it still needs work. And we went through a process of, I don't know, 6 months to a year of developing the character more. I just didn't want to play a cardboard cutout action figure or whatever. So some of the clues that the screenplay gave me was him always checking his watch. So
Okay. So primero.
I wasn't finished.
Yeah. Okay.
You finished? All right. One aspect of it, I said, why does he check his watch so much? Why does he go to a diner at 2 o'clock in the morning to read books all the time? Why does he live alone? So I started doing research on obsessive compulsive behavior. And in my research and working on the character, I decided that something that happened in his past has led to a post-traumatic stress disorder, which I felt led to a obsessive compulsive behavior. That combined with the loss of his wife, if you notice, he does things like arranges forks and knives. He folds his napkin a certain way. He brings one tea bag to the diner every night. He goes to the diner. He can't sleep. Even before he exercises justice or whatever you want to call it on these guys in the office there, he opens and closes the door 5 or 6 times. So that became, that to me made the character richer. So when we see him, we go, well, what's wrong with him? Or we all have a public persona, and we have a private one. When you're at home and you're looking at your stomach or your body and you're going, oh boy, I got him fooled. you know, but so we get a glimpse into his private life, and we go, wow, something's different about him. But we see, as someone mentioned, that he likes to help, he wants to help people. So we're invested in him, and we're invested in this young girl for the abuse she's taking. And you combine these two lost souls, and they find this odd connection, and then he sees the abuse that she's getting, you know. And one of the scenes when I saw the movie that I don't remember seeing as much because I may not have been there when she shot her part, was just her walking to the car when this older man is sitting in the back of this limousine, you know, like, come here, little girl. And she puts on this face and starts switching, like, you know, she plays her part. And when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, man, that's sad, you know, and somebody has to pay, and they do.
Yeah, they do.
Sí, adelante con la
Multitasking.
Yeah, trying to. I'm Benjamin Aguindé from Argentina. It's a simple question. I have you have a very rich trajectory, you know, in your career, but you always, well, pretty often you seem to fall back on these kind of blue-collar kind of roles, and I was wondering if...
Fall back?
Sorry, no, wrong word. You recur to these kind of roles. You know, like John Q, Crimson Tide, Philadelphia, Man on Fire, Unstoppable, Taking a Pelham, this movie. You have like
Crimson Tide. He was a lieutenant in the Navy.
Yeah,
he was a blue collar lieutenant on a nuclear submarine. That's not blue collar. But you're too young. You probably, how old were you when that movie came out?
Oh,
four?
God. I don't
four?
know. Like 4, yeah. Actually, yeah. Four. I was 4.
Well, the pilot is not
blue collar. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You have this kind of man of the people kind of vibe, the heroes you play. I was wondering if it's the kind of scripts you get, the kind of roles you look for. Maybe you don't see the connection. I was just curious.
Well,
and nervous.
It's all right. You're young. Maybe I am a man of the people. I don't know. Maybe that's just my personality. You know, I'm an ordinary guy with an extraordinary job. So I'm not an extraordinary guy. I just got an extraordinary job. Maybe I'm attracted to that. But I also, like I said earlier, I do a variety of things, but they're all not just on film. You know, but Flight wasn't blue collar. He was just an alcoholic. You know, what was the question? You don't remember either.
Alonzo wasn't blue collar.
Oh yeah, Alonzo wasn't blue collar. He was.
It's just a few roles, like John Q. You take a hospital, like hostage, or
right.
I don't know.
You know, words are interesting. You said it's just a few films, right? But
Right.
when you go back and you listen to the tape of what you said you always fall back.
Sorry, yeah, maybe.
It's all right. You're young. It's okay.
Maybe in Spanish.
Ask another question. What else you want to know? Take your time.
Do you find yourself...
Ask one for the director.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Well, how do you feel about the roles he plays? How does the roles he plays make you feel?
Well, it's kind of like tied with what I said before. It does feel like man up.
No. How does it make you feel? When you watch his movies, how do they make you feel?
Oh,
the character.
I root for him. It's empowering. I love the experience, obviously. I mean, you're always like striving for justice, except if Alonzo, fair enough. You don't play villains very often, but you're usually like that hero. I don't know.
Like Frank Lucas.
Right, that's 2 villains. Fair enough.
But you know what? After Training Day,
yeah,
all I got was villains. Before Training Day, I never got villains. I guess that's the nature of Hollywood.
Great actors make the best actors that I know. I grew up watching, like Denzel as well, working with Denzel. There's something about them that you see in yourself. There's always something you want to be, alter ego, but there's something about them you see in yourself. And most of the great films, right? So maybe that's what you're feeling, is that he feels like a guy that you can relate to and you connect to. But blue collar wouldn't be a term, a box I would put it in. I would just say Denzel connects to people. I watched him today, he's sitting there. I watched him today when we arrived, which is what he does everywhere. And he almost tries to sign every autograph he can with all the people. I was up in my hotel room. I think I showered and came back out. He was still outside sign autographs, take pictures. But that's who he is anyway as a person. So maybe you're just feeling that he's just a real guy. He's like he said, he has an extraordinary job, but that's who he is. Maybe that's what you're feeling.
That's probably it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry for a blue-collar term.
No, that's all right. You're young.
Blue collar's good now.
I am
Nothing
young.
wrong with being blue collar, man.
And that's good. How'd you get in here so young? What do you do? Who you work for?
The medium. It's called Escribiendo Cine, writing cinema in Argentina. It's actually just like it's
like a
an
website?
Well, yeah, it's a website. But we get like 500,000 visits every month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but
All right.
get here.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations, Denzel, for your award. This question is for you both. It's about the books. We see two titles in the movie, The Invisible Man and The Old Man and the Sea. And I just want you to explain why those books, or if those books were important to you during the filming. Thank you.
Well, Richard Wink, the writer, wrote those books in the script. So they were already there. But, I mean, yeah, they're important because those are books in search of humanity in a way, right? I mean, the knights don't exist, right? You know, those sort of things where it relates to him, right? Because he's a guy that, we don't even say what job he did, but you would assume he did it for what he thought were the right reasons. And at some point he decided he didn't want to do that anymore based on his own past. And that book relates directly to that idea, the idea of that. Right, Old Man of the Sea is a great name. He said, "Fish got to be the fish." Was it?
Fish got to be the fish. Got to be who.
Yeah, right. So that's a message to himself as well, and to us, you know, as people. He tells that to Chloe in a weird way. So the books relate directly to him as a character and to our story. You know, but Richard Wink, the writer, wrote those in there.
Bien, estamos todos encantados.
Okay, we're very happy to be here, but due to agenda reasons, we have to finish the press conference. Thank you very much to all of you.